All right. So this is Google Earth. It's a free program available from Google. You can put it on your computers. It downloads and installs. Do most of you have it on your computers at home? Yeah, it's a very common program. When you start it up, one of the key things that is extremely important for you guys to do is to sign in. Because what's going to be checked at various times throughout the semester, you're going to be asked to open it up and show us that you're actually dropping pins in the places that you're saying you're dropping the pins. Okay? So is that clear? Right, so you guys have to create an account. I think you can create an account by just creating a Google account. So if you guys have a Gmail account, I believe it works, but check it. Okay? Whenever, it is very important, because otherwise I don't want people having to do this all at the last minute, because I'm not going to accept it at the last minute. I'm going to ask you guys to do this, and periodically one of them is going to check to make sure that you guys are actually dropping these pins. Okay? So make sure that when you look at it, that it has your login right there. Okay? So I can try and sign in and see what happens.
Yeah, on the top right corner it says you're logged in.
Yeah, so I'm logged in right there. It'll take a while to actually populate all of my stuff. I've got all sorts of different things in here. But you look and you'll see that you're logged in as a certain person, and that becomes extremely important that you do that, because otherwise, if you go saving stuff, it's not going to show. It's not going to show up later. It won't save. If you do this, it'll save to the cloud, and then you'll be able to find your places at any point that you log in as you. Okay, so let's take a look at some stuff. The way you move the earth around is by clicking on it with your hand, and you click with your pick finger. You drag it around. I think most of you probably know how to do that. Okay, so let's take a look at. Let's go to Rome. To Roma.
There's mine.
And if you double click in a particular area, you can kind of zoom down into it. And at some point, it'll take you into this sort of three-dimensional view. But this is the city of Rome. Okay. And it kind of gives you a generalized idea of kind of the relationship of things. I forgot the name of that river. But you can drop pins at given areas. So for example, say I was going to drop a pin here. This is the Pantheon. Okay. So if I click on that little button right there that looks like a pin up there, do you guys see that? It's going to drop the pin in the relative center of my screen, and I can then pick it up and sort of move it around. Okay. The next thing is that it's going to bring up this dialog box right here. Okay. So when you drop the pin and it brings up the dialog box, the other thing that's going to be really important that you do is that you name it. And so this is the Pantheon. Capitalize it. And the way that I want you guys to save this stuff is I want you to put the name of the building down, and I want you to put the city that it's in, and the country. That should be sufficient. The current country by today's time periods. All right? So like if you go to the ziggurat at Ur, it's not going to be in Mesopotamia, right? It's probably going to be in modern-day Iraq. So. Okay. One of the things that I want you to note is that when you drop a pin, it tells you what the latitude and longitude is. Okay. So it becomes kind of important that you guys understand the concept of latitude and longitude. Once you click OK, that pin will it'll basically populate your list over here. And you can organize the list later. You can move things into different groupings and stuff. All right. You can zoom out by just scrolling the mouse back. Okay. Or you can zoom in. So let's take a look at a couple of other things that I want you guys to be aware of. You can go to Brazil. You can go see some of Oscar Niemeyer's buildings. Where Google is allowed to drive cars, they've driven through with a car with the camera up on the roof, and they've taken stereolithographic images, and they're sort of turned into what you would see in a street view. So if you take this little person over here and you drag and drop it, you'll see these blue lines show up. If there's blue lines that are showing up, that means that the car's been there and you can stand in that spot and it will show you what that place is like. I took pictures right here with my wife. I've got a great picture from back down that area looking around the corner back at the Pantheon, which is back here.
Is it that crowded?
Yeah, it's freaking crazy in summer. I'd love to go back to the Pantheon in, like fall. That would be a nice time to go when all the little kiddies are back in school. So, anyway, but this becomes kind of an interesting tool, and what I'm hoping is that it actually develops this wanderlust in you at some point and makes you want to go out and see the world. So these are just a few of the features. You can exit Street View here. All right, if you want to put north so that it's facing up, this button over here, if you click on the N, it will turn it so that north is pointing up. A lot of times when you're scrolling around the Earth is going to get turned around. So if I zoom way out here, and you spin around, watch the N. The North Pole starts to kind of get all twisted and turned, right? So if at any point you want to put the North Pole back up, you just click that and it puts the North Pole back up. Okay, so what's this continent? Right on! You guys are cool. What's this? India. Okay, let's get a little more technical. What is the name of this body of water?
The Black Sea.
This is the Persian Gulf.
The Black Sea's up there.
The Black Sea is up here, the Caspian Sea is here, the Mediterranean Sea is there. This is the Red Sea, and that's I believe, the Suez Canal. Is that right? The Suez Canal is at the top. Okay? All right. So this becomes an invaluable sort of tool that wasn't available 20 years ago. I didn't have this when I was going to school. Right? So I'm going to save this thing as some tips on how to use Google Drive. And right now, I'm going to close this. I'm going to stop this video, and I'm going to see if there are questions.